All right, Grand Rising, my fellow Eternals, fellow minds, fellow imagination. Welcome to another sunny Sunday of the One Great I Am. Awakening, I'm Chris Taylor, one of your hosts, and with me is my partner in mind and in spirit, Mr. Thomas, aka Sir T. Sir T, whenever you're available, you can jump in. He's multitasking, doing double duties as per usual, but will be joining us momentarily to get the show on the road. Today we have a wonderful setup for you guys. Wonderful message from again our mentor, spiritual mentor, Mr. Neville Goddard. Today we're going to live in the end. Living in the end. What does it mean to live in the end? Live in the end of our desires, all of our assumptions already fulfilled. That's what we're going to be talking about today, is pretending, as was one of our first topic for the year. Let us pretend. As little children, little children always pretend to be talking to their imaginary friend, to be doing a particular activity that only exists within their imagination, not in the physical at the moment. But nonetheless, they live as if. That's another way you could put it. Live as if, act as if. Like a movie, when we're watching a movie, they're all pretending to be those characters. They're all acting as if that's who they are. And when you're viewing the movie, you get caught up into the moment. You forget somehow that you are watching a movie. You wonder how that is even possible. But you forget that you're watching a movie, and you're even telling the person to run or to hide. It's a movie, it's not real. But the imagination does not know real from pretending. To the imagination, everything is real. This is why if you imagine some type of fear, your heart is going to race. If you imagine some type of joy or bliss, you're going to smile. Your body is going to tingle. You're going to feel excited. You might get goosebumps. All these things is responding to your imagination, and nothing is even happening. It's all in your mind. However, today we're going to learn that these things are happening and materializes so long as we continue to live in the end in a sustained faith, so to speak, a sustained assumption that it is so. And if we do that, our desires will materialize in front of our eyes. All right. So thank you guys for being here this sunny Sunday. Just want to recognize you guys being faithful and, always coming, each and every week to continue this upgrade. I like to call it. We're downloading more and more knowledge of how to sharpen our imagination, thereby increasing our abilities to manifest all our desires with effortless effort, So that is our goal, that is our desire, and that is what we intend to do. So with that said, let's jump into this audio, and I'm going to be coming back momentarily, but I want you guys to take copious notes, either on something physical, preferably, for reference later on. If you cannot, if you're too busy, just take notes in mind. All right. So let's jump into it. I see we have Mr. Sunshine. We have Kizzy. Welcome, Kizzy. Haven't seen you in a while. Mark, Mr. Devon, Charmin, Serti and myself. So we're all here and should be joined by others momentarily. All right, so let's jump into it. And we were listening to The Secret earlier. This video, The Secret, is what began to awake me back in 2006. So imagine that. Let's go here. So that's when my awakening began, and still continues. You're never fully awake. You're always waking up, all right, to higher and higher levels of consciousness. All right, let's go.
You are the creator of your reality. Every thought, every feeling, and every assumption you hold shapes the world around you. The truth of this statement through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. It is about embracing the truth that you are the creator of your reality, and that you have the ability to manifest your desires with ease and grace. The truth of this statement lies not in wishful thinking or vague hope, but in the very foundation of how life operates. To live in the end, to act as if you already have what you desire, is not merely an exercise in positive thinking, it is a conscious alignment with the creative power that defines the universe. What does it mean to live in the end? It means adopting the mindset that you are already in possession of what you desire, as though it has already come to pass. This is not a fantasy, but rather the most potent act of creation. It's about knowing that the future you wish for is already a present reality within you. The key is to assume this state completely, allowing it to govern your actions, thoughts, and feelings as though it were already your truth. When you live in the end, you step beyond the limits of what your senses tell you. Your senses show you the world as it appears, but your imagination shows you the world as it could be. The true power lies in choosing which of these to believe. Most people are so tied to the evidence of their senses that they cannot break free from the current version of their lives. They look around and see lack, failure, or limitation, and they allow these external conditions to dictate their internal state. But the real process of creation happens the other way around. What is within you determines what is around you. When you can stand firm in the conviction that you already possess your desire, despite the outer conditions, the world will begin to shift in response. It is not the outer world that has the final say, it is your inner world. Consider this: everything you see now in your life was once imagined. The job you have, the relationships you are in, the home you live in, these were all, at one time, nothing more than thoughts in your mind. They only became reality because at some point, consciously or unconsciously, you assumed them to be true. You believed in their existence before they manifested. This is the power of assumption. To act as if you already have what you want is to align yourself with the state of being that attracts it into your life. If you desire love, act as though you are already deeply loved. Feel what it feels like to be cherished, respected, and adored. If you desire abundance, walk through life with the calm confidence that comes from knowing you are financially free. Feel the relief, the joy, the excitement of having more than enough. If you want success, carry yourself as though you are already successful. Speak, think, and act from the place of accomplishment, even if the world hasn't caught up with that reality yet. There will be moments when your current circumstances tempt you to abandon this mental discipline. Doubts will creep in, and your senses will try to convince you that nothing is changing. But this is where your faith must remain unshaken. The outer world is always slow to reflect inner change. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't dig up the soil every day to check whether the seed is growing. You trust that it is taking root beneath the surface, even when there is no visible evidence of progress. In the same way, you must trust that the reality you are cultivating in your mind is coming to fruition, even when nothing seems to be happening yet. The process of living in the end involves more than just thought. It requires feeling. Thought alone is not enough to bring about change. You must feel the state of your wish fulfilled. This is not simply imagining what it would be like, it is the actual feeling of living in that state now. Your emotions are the language through which you communicate with the creative force of the universe. The stronger your feeling, the more powerfully you are communicating your desire. Ask yourself, how would you feel if you were already the person you wish to be? What emotions would dominate your experience? Is it relief, joy, excitement, peace, or confidence? Whatever those feelings are, they are the key to unlocking your desired reality. Begin to cultivate them in your daily life. Even if the world tells you that nothing has changed, remain steadfast in your feeling that everything has already changed. Living in the end also requires you to release any attachment to the how and when of your desire's manifestation. The human mind often tries to control the process, attempting to figure out every detail of how things will unfold. But this need for control stems from a place of doubt. It suggests that you don't truly believe in the power of your assumption. When you live in the end, you trust that the details will be taken care of. You let go of the need to micromanage the process and surrender to the natural unfolding of events. You know that what is meant for you will come in the perfect way, at the perfect time. It's essential to cultivate patience. Creation takes time, not because it is inherently slow, but because we often stand in our own way by doubting or wavering in our faith. If you can hold steady in the assumption that your desire is already yours, you will accelerate the process. However, every moment
All right. You guys heard that? That sometimes when we are, you know, desiring and awaiting our manifestation of our desires, and we see that it's taking a long time or it's not, coming to fruition fast enough, usually it's because we have some inner or subconscious programs of doubt and fear and unworthiness and limited beliefs, these are programs that we are not aware of that they're there. And we find ourselves doubting unconsciously by wondering why it's taking so long. And the tape is going to get into more of, why you shouldn't do that. What you're really doing at that particular time, besides doubting, there are some other stuff that's happening within your consciousness, but we're not aware of it. So these lessons are to make us more aware that we are really the ones slowing ourselves down. It's not what's happening in the world. It's not the economy. It's not who the president is. It's not because the job is not fulfilling. All these things are just limited beliefs that we hold on to. Um, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to what's going on with the economy, but there is a lot of stuff going on. But do not hold on to what you see happening or what may transpire. You know, um, live in your own end, not the one that you're witnessing with your eyes and ears and what other senses. You are just experiencing, you know, in concert everything that's going on, but you still have your own personal world that you can design and have been designing. And many times, if you find yourself caught up in what's going on in the world, it's because that is the world that you have designed also for yourself. You have been on that frequency, that vibration for quite some time. Or you have a subconscious program that actualizes that initial, it comes to life. It becomes aware of every negative, every thing that's out there that is showing you that there's not going to be a good time and things are going to be down and all these things that are happening. But instead, you must always live in the end of your wish, fulfill despite that, whatever is going on. You will see that despite what's going on out there in the world, it will have no effect on you so long as you don't allow it to, so long as you don't attach to yourself or your vibration, your frequency to what's going on. Always, we're not saying not to be aware of what's going on out there, you know, but we're saying to be more aware of your own desires, your own world, your own inner conversations. Stick to what you desire to have happen for you. If you get caught up in what's happening out there in the world, you're going to slow down your particular manifestations or desires. You are to always stay focused. It's almost like, what is really like living in the end? What is another example you can use? All of us who travel far, going places that we do not know, we use a thing they call the GPS. All right, so your address, where you're starting from has to be first put in, where you're coming from, and where you're going. Notice that the last thing you put in is the address in where you're going. That is you living in the end. You have created the end of where you want to end up. Okay. Now the GPS, the one putting the idea or the destination, whatnot in the GPS, that is you consciously thinking or imagining, contemplating. That is you, the conscious mind, desiring something. Okay, your desire is to end up in Miami from Fort Myers or from wherever you're coming from. That is your desire. The GPS is the subconscious mind, which carries out that desire, that destination, that predestined desire. You know, you is a predestined or predestination that you put in ahead of time, right? But you're doing it in the present moment. You have to do it now, okay? Because all your power is in your moment, in this moment, presently. Once you do it, you no longer have to guide the GPS. And if you were to interfere with the GPS by saying, why is it not giving me, every step of the way directions, and why haven't I heard it say anything yet? Because we all go through that with the GPS. You wonder why it's so silent. It hasn't said a word in 30 minutes and so on and so forth. You don't know where you're going. You're wondering if you're lost. And these are the things that we could call doubt and fear and, just being too, you're micromanaging the experience too much. And you interfere with the GPS and you have to start over and all these different things. But if you just let it be, GPS will take you exactly to where you have desired to go, which is in Miami. The GPS is your subconscious mind, and it never fails. It always goes to where you tell it to go. And if you confuse it, it's going to act confusing everywhere. Right, Serti? Serti, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you. Look like you're driving.
Yeah. By the way, good morning to everybody. A little bit distracted here, but in what you're saying there, using the analogy of the GPS, you realize that the GPS will never come to you and invite you to put anything in.
No.
No, the GPS, if you don't put anything in, the GPS takes you nowhere. But anything you put in, it's gonna take you where you put it in to go. Now, you might not know the route that it's taking you, because it's taking you the easy route. If there's traffic on the road, the GPS know. It's gonna alter the route. If police out there, it'll go make you know. All kind of thing. But you are the one who have to consciously decide your destination, where you wanna go. And from there, once you decide where you wanna go, you have to leave it totally up to the GPS. Do not start panicking if it go on a road that you don't know. You just want to check and make sure you're the right destination you will put in there. As long as you confirm that it's the destination that you desire, that's what you put in there. Now you have to just relax and trust the GPS. And that is exactly what's happening here. See, the movie you're watching now, the movie that you're watching now is a movie that you filmed that movie there in the past. You filmed that movie in the past, and that's the movie. That's the movie you're watching now. We're all watching different movies. We're all watching the movies that we were the executive director for. We created the movie, and that's what you're seeing right now. Even when what we call a national, natural disaster happens, you are still experiencing your version of it. The way how you experience the hurricane, the man will live next door and I see him way experience it. You are experiencing these things based on your persuasion, based on what is your view, how you see yourself in it. And that's how you're experiencing it. And the movie you're experiencing today is one that you filmed formerly. Now, if it's an unfavorable movie, you don't like the movie, you still have to watch it because you done build it already. But don't get frustrated because you know so you build another movie after that, a better movie. The better movie just not released as yet, it not come out as yet. And you can't hurry the better movie because how long is it going to take for you to see the new movie that you created? As long as it takes you to finish watching the one that you already created. Because you have to watch it because you created it. Now, if you're watching it and you keep on blaming other people for it and you keep on catching up bad vibes because of whatever, then you're going to watch that movie again. As you just recreated it again. But the quicker you get through and get past that old movie and see it as that, when something come up on your wheel, say, oh, that's old news, that did happen already. It's okay. That won't stop me. I already read the back of the book. I get past that. That's old news. All of them something I see happening right now. It's old news. And even if it is something that you really like that you're experiencing now, that's also old news. You don't have to sit there and revel in that and no, there is something better you can create better than that. Even the most beautiful thing that you're experiencing right now. Don't sit and revel in that and just feel like no, that's not the best of you. There is still a more grand experience than the grand one you're experiencing right now. In another movie where you're in the back of it to come out. If you're doing your thing the right way, if you're doing your thing the right way, you should be always painting a more beautiful picture. No.
Right now.
No, yeah. You can't do nothing else about this. The movie where you're watching now, you can't edit it, The movie that you're watching currently. You can't go in and edit it, You don't make the movie there already and see them, how it release a story that show and that go happen. But you can change the next movie. No. And wait on it. When you change the next movie, don't expect say that come on. You're not going to film the movie this morning and come on pass on the Martini this evening. You have to watch them other old Martini where you did create back in the past. And just watch them with no judgment, because you know why you create them. It would be like you're looking over your work and you realize you make some mistake. You know, sit down there and just chastise yourself all day long. No, you see the mistake. I don't like say you're dumb to the mistake. You see what you did wrong. So now you can do better the next time. So you're not bother chastise yourself and carry on. You just watch that without no emotion and let it go. So that you can quickly get to the good movie.
Absolutely.
None of it make no sense, brother.
Yes, man. Absolute sense. Very relatable. Everyone can understand. Just like it's ABC, you know what I mean? So we're doing it, giving examples that are practical. Everybody are right here are aware of how to use a GPS, have used a GPS. And speaking of GPS, Sir Gary told me a story over the weekend. I think it was Saturday or Friday. I saw him, and he said that he and Gigi were traveling to Lehigh using the GPS, and they got to the destination, which they thought was the destination. And what was off was one letter, They're supposed to be west, and they put east. So the address, the number and everything is correct, but that one letter right there throughout the entire destination.
They'll
And
carry you go where you say you want to go.
they carry you to where you put what destination you put in. So Gigi have a picture of where she's supposed to be, and the picture did not match up. And she was saying, "This is not the place that we got. This is totally different." That what the picture we got. And Sergey was like, "No man, this got to be it because I know I put in the address and whatever." And she said, "Hold on, no, that's not it." So let me check. And when they check the address they put in the Jeep, when they go back and check the address that they were supposed to put in and look at the address where they were, they realized that they were in the wrong place. Same number, just on the opposite side. Supposed to be west and they were like east or something like that. So you see, when you desire something, you might say, but that's not what I intended to have or to get or to receive. Well, subconsciously, that's what you did. You don't remember or you don't realize because we create a lot of time unconsciously. A lot of our creation is unconscious doing. And so, though we desire to have, say, I wanted to buy a black SUV, and I ended up getting a black, Toyota Camry or something like that. There's a subconscious belief in your mind where you didn't believe or was fearful enough that that was even possible. So whatever you felt that you could get or deserve, that's what your subconscious mind gave you because
Sir Chris, and
it's working off of your feeling, what you feel that you can get or deserve. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tim.
yeah, bro, and that is why we are like trying to speed up the thing from a different look on it from a more mature perspective. When I say mature, I'm talking where the thing already come to pass. As I say, it doesn't take any faith to believe in a something that happen already. If
No,
you
no.
can put the whole thing in hands, it's not hard to believe something that already happened. It's hard to believe that something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I believe that something is going to happen when you cannot see how it will happen.
Yeah.
But if it already happened, it's not hard to believe that it will happen, even though you still cannot see how it happened, but it already happened, so it's not hard to believe. And that's how you have to see your creations, not desires. Not desires. Don't have desires. You have to see your creations as something that already happened. Feel it as already happened. You have anxiety. It's all news. It happened already. It's old news. When should I think? When should I think? Was it last week? I don't think it reached 2 weeks. I put a tape in the room where a brethren was talking about. See, like just like how you have the Neville Goddard ladder, the ladder exercise, climbing the
Yes.
ladder.
Yes.
This guy was talking about the same principle, but at the ATM machine. Did you watch that tape? It's very short.
No, I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, man, it was in the room. But the virgin was saying, just like how Neville imagined that you're climbing the ladder in your sleep while you fall asleep. He was imagining that he's at the ATM machine and he's hearing the sound of the ATM machine. Let out the money. When he get to a point where he start listening, going for long now, shuffle up a lot of money. Let out the money. And him keep doing it. So I said, let me do that. Started sometime last week, I started doing it. I said, no, really do that something. And I did it. Wasn't too specific. I guess I wasn't specific enough. Yesterday, out of the blue, my daughter, she been looking for cars to buy a car. So yesterday, it's her first car she'll buy. She'll buy a little money. Yesterday, she said to me, said, Daddy, see a car on the road. She said she and her brother, she and Jamal go look panic the day before and she really want to get the car. So I said, all right, good. I pick her up at a job and swing by our bank. But of course, because I'm here drive, the ATM is on my side. So she give me a card and I put in the card in the thing. And of course, a good amount of money she draw out of the ATM is a car she go buy. So I'm sitting there, I hear the machine, I go, shh, and I spit out the money, take out the money, yeah. And see him there, I remember, I said, but now something I'm doing, I'm a dream, I see. Because I'm eating, like, it's the same thing I'm doing while I fall asleep. I'm even imagining,
Yeah.
I'm even imagining myself counting out, like, I count out some money, I give some people, I count out some money. When I was going out, after I take out all of the money, it is like me didn't know, and I count the money and hand it to her, if she count it again, I hand it to the guy. And I said, watch it, you know, the same thing, but I was not specific enough. I saw it, but I know my money, because you never get specific enough about it. And you see how quick it happened in less than a week.
Just like the GPS.
Just like it happened in less than a week. In less than a week of me doing that, I was actually literally at the ATM pulling out money 3-4 different times where I go in, go pull out the money. And I'm handing it to her and counting it off just like I had been imagining. It happened in less than a week. Did I know how? No. You don't have to know how. As a matter of fact, you will never know how. If you know how, that means that it's not the deeper intelligence within you that's doing it. It's you that's doing it. We are here now putting the deeper intelligence to work. That's what we want to work. We want to put the deeper intelligence to work, and believe me when I tell you that it's just a silent place that you find yourself in a silent place. When you're in everything has already happened. Everything complete. And you're in that, while you have that in that silent place in your mind, where your mind is totally silent. Breathe easy. When you come out of it, it must almost feel funny to yourself. The thing not literally just happened a while ago. Do it.
I like that
It's
example.
a joy. It's a joy if you play around with that something, man. Let me just say,
Love
it's
that
like
example.
yeah, man, it's like a new tie. It's like a new tie, circus. It's like a new tie if you just play with it. It's fun if you play with it, especially because you don't know how it's gonna happen. But you know it's gonna happen now. You don't know for a fact it's gonna happen. You start. It's a deep knowing. I don't believe you believe. It's a deep knowing in yourself where you know it's gonna happen, but you don't know how. And it's just so it's just such a joy if you play with that something.
Remember what scripture says, unless you become like a child again,
Yeah, man.
you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is your awareness. And that's where you have to create from. But instead, because you're not a child, you're a grown man or woman, you're trying to create from outside of the kingdom of heaven, which is you're trying to consciously do it, struggling, trying to will it, wanting to know how it's going to happen, when, if, where, how, what possibility or possibilities are they? And because you're trying to do it with the conscious mind, the manual mind, it's almost like you want to dig a trench, and instead of using a pickaxe or a shovel, you're trying to use your hand. Yes, you have to use your hand, but your hand can hold on to something that is easier, less effort, made for digging trenches, such as a pickaxe or a shovel. Your hand in that case would be your conscious mind. The tool is the subconscious doing the work that you are instructing it to do. You take a hammer, the hammer is the subconscious mind, but the hand is the conscious mind. but the hammer does what the hand directed it to do. The hammer cannot operate itself, neither can the subconscious. The subconscious is a copycat. It copies what you do, but does it without any effort whatsoever. Yes, you can use your hand and dig the trench, but let me tell you, it's going to take you a very long time, and it's probably going to hurt you as well. Leave it up to the subconscious. It knows how to do it much better, but you have to give it the vivid imaginary instruction, and then it follows, you know? So that said, let's jump back into the tape, and we'll be right back.
Moment of doubt, every time you revert to focusing on what you lack, delays the manifestation. You must remain unwavering in your conviction that it is already done, even when faced with evidence to the contrary. Living in the end means living with an unshakable sense of certainty. It means making decisions as though your desired outcome is already your reality. How would you act if you were already living your dream? How would you treat others? How would you spend your time? What would your daily routine look like? Begin to embody those actions now. By aligning your behavior with your desired state of being, you send a clear signal to the universe that this is who you are, and the universe responds accordingly. The external world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you the contents of your inner world. If you do not like what you see in your life, it is not because the world is against you, it is because your internal state does not match your desire. Change the state within, and the reflection must change as well. Remember, the feeling of having already achieved your desire is the catalyst for its manifestation. The more consistently you can live in this feeling, the more rapidly your reality will shift to align with it. It is not enough to occasionally dip into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must make it your dominant state of being. You must carry this feeling with you throughout your day, regardless of what is happening around you. As you persist in this state, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your reality. Things will start to move in your favor. Opportunities will arise, doors will open, and the people and circumstances you need will be drawn to you. This is the natural consequence of living in the end. It is not magic, it is the law. You are always creating, whether you realize it or not. The only difference is that now you are doing it consciously. So live boldly. Live in the end as though your dream is already yours. Know that your assumption is the key to your power. You do not need to wait for permission from the world to begin living as the person you wish to be. The moment you assume it is true, it becomes true within you. And when it is true within, it must become true without. When you live in the end, you are tapping into a fundamental truth about reality. Everything is created twice, first in the imagination and then in the external world. This principle underpins all creation. The invisible precedes the visible. The intangible precedes the tangible. It's important to understand that every physical object, every relationship, every circumstance in your life began as an idea, a thought, or a feeling. Once you grasp this concept, you begin to realize that the world around you is not fixed. It is malleable, changeable, and entirely subject to the beliefs you hold. The moment you conceive of a desire, it already exists in an unseen realm. It exists in potential. It is not yet visible, but that does not mean it isn't real. The unseen is as real as the seen. The only difference is that one has not yet materialized into form. By living in the end, by acting as though you already have what you want, you begin to collapse the gap between the invisible and the visible. You draw that potential reality closer to the present moment, until it inevitably becomes part of your physical experience. Living in the end is a declaration of faith. It is an unwavering belief that what you desire is already yours. But faith, in this context, is not passive. It is an active, living force. Faith demands that you embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, that you think, speak, and act as though the thing you desire is already your reality. This is a powerful shift because most people wait for external evidence before they allow themselves to feel a certain way. They wait for success before they feel successful. They wait for love before they feel loved. They wait for abundance before they feel wealthy. To live in the end is to take your mind off the process of how your desire will come to fruition. It requires you to trust in a deeper intelligence, one that orchestrates all of creation. The human mind often gets caught up in the details, trying to figure out every step along the way. It wants to know exactly how things will happen, in what order, and according to what timeline. But this need for control is rooted in fear. It's the fear that if you don't personally manage every aspect of the process, your desire won't manifest. This fear is unnecessary. When you live in the end, you are handing over the details to a higher power, trusting that the universe knows the most harmonious and efficient way to bring your desire into being. You let go of the need to know how it will happen, and instead you focus entirely on living in the feeling that it already has happened. This is not a passive form of surrender, it is an active participation in creation. You are still deeply involved in the process, but your role is to maintain the inner state of fulfillment, to nurture the feeling that your desire is already yours. The question often arises, how long do you need to live in the end before your desire manifests? The answer is as long as it takes for you to fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled. There is no set timeline, no rigid schedule. Some desires may manifest quickly, while others may take longer. The key is persistence. You must remain faithful to your assumption, regardless of how long it takes for the physical world to catch up with your inner state. The physical world is slower to respond than your imagination, but that doesn't mean it isn't responding. Think of it like a river that has been flowing in one direction for a long time. When you change your assumptions, when you begin to live in the end, you are changing the direction of the current. It may take time for the river to fully shift, but the moment you change your assumption, the current begins to turn. The more consistently you live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the faster the external world will reflect that new direction. Living in the end requires you to be vigilant about your thoughts and feelings. You must guard against slipping back into old patterns of lack and limitation. It's easy to fall into the habit of reacting to the current conditions of your life, especially if those conditions are far from what you desire. But every time you react to your external circumstances as though they are fixed and unchangeable, you reinforce the very reality you wish to transcend. This is where mental discipline comes into play. You must train yourself to focus on the reality you want, not the reality you see. Your current circumstances are nothing more than the outpicturing of your past thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. They are not permanent, and they do not define what is possible for you. When you live in the end, you are no longer bound by the limitations of your current reality. You are living from a place of infinite possibility, knowing that whatever you assume to be true within you will eventually become true in the world around you. One of the most powerful tools in living in the end is visualization. When you visualize, you are using the power of your imagination to create the feeling of your wish fulfilled. But visualization is not just about seeing images in your mind. It is about fully immersing yourself in the experience of your desired reality. You must engage all of your senses, see the sights, hear the sounds, feel the textures, and most importantly, experience the emotions of living in your desired state. If you desire financial freedom, imagine yourself living that reality. What does your daily life look like? How do you feel as you wake up each morning, knowing that you have more than enough money to meet your needs and desires? If you desire a living relationship, visualize yourself with your ideal partner. What are you doing together? How do you feel in their presence? The more vivid and real you can make these mental experiences, the more powerfully they will impress upon your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts whatever you impress upon it as truth. This is why it is so important to guard the thoughts and images you allow into your mind. Every thought, every feeling, every image you hold is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Over time, those seeds will grow and bear fruit in the form of your external reality. The question is, what kind of seeds are you planting? Are they seeds of abundance, love, and success, or are they seeds of lack, fear, and limitation? Living in the end is about consciously choosing the seeds you plant. It's about taking control of your inner world so that it aligns with the outer world you wish to create. This is not a one-time effort. It is a daily practice. Every day you must choose to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what is happening around you. Some days it will be easy, and other days it will be more challenging. But the more you practice, the more natural it will become. Over time, living in the end will become second nature to you. You will no longer have to consciously remind yourself to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled because it will become your default state. You will move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that whatever you desire is already yours. This is the true power of living in the end. It allows you to move beyond the limitations of time and space and to create your reality from the inside out. Another important aspect of living in the end is self-concept. Your self-concept is the foundation upon which all of your desires are built. It is the image you hold of yourself in relation to the world around you. If your self-concept is rooted in lack, unworthiness, or limitation, no amount of external effort will bring about lasting change. You may achieve temporary success, but it will not be sustainable because your self-concept will eventually pull you back to a state that matches your inner beliefs. In order to live in the end effectively, you must elevate your self-concept to match the reality you desire. You must see yourself as worthy, capable, and deserving of all that you wish to create. This is not about arrogance or ego, it is about recognizing the divine power within you. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a creator. When you truly understand this, you begin to approach life from a place of empowerment rather than fear. Elevating your self-concept requires you to let go of old, limiting beliefs about who you are and what is possible for you. These beliefs may have been ingrained in you since childhood. They may have been reinforced by society, by your family, or by past experiences. But they are not the truth of who you are. They are simply the result of past conditioning. When you live in the end, you are not bound by the past. You are free to create a new self-concept that aligns with your highest vision for your life. One of the most effective ways to elevate your self-concept is through affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that affirm the reality you wish to create. When repeated consistently, they begin to reshape your subconscious mind and align it with your desired outcome. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you might affirm, I am financially free and abundant. If you desire love, you might affirm, I am worthy of deep and fulfilling love. The key is to choose affirmations that resonate with you and to repeat them often, especially during moments of doubt or fear. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood aspects of creation. Many believe that to detach means to stop caring about the outcome or to give up on the desire altogether. But this is not the case. Detachment does not mean indifference, it means freedom. It means freeing yourself from the need for your desire to manifest in a specific way or on a specific timeline. Detachment allows you to maintain a state of peace and inner fulfillment, regardless of what is happening in the external world. It means that your happiness is not contingent upon the manifestation of your desire. When you are truly living in the end, you are so absorbed in the feeling of your wish fulfilled that the need for external validation fades away. You no longer feel the urge to check for signs or to constantly monitor the progress of your manifestation. You know that your desire is already yours, and so there is no need to obsess over when or how it will appear. This is the essence of detachment. Detachment also allows you to remain open to the infinite possibilities that exist in the universe. When you are overly attached to a specific outcome, you may inadvertently limit the ways in which your desire can come to you. The universe has a far greater intelligence than the human mind can comprehend, and it often delivers our desires in ways that are far better than we could have imagined. But in order to receive these blessings, we must be willing to let go of our rigid expectations and trust in the process. Living in the end also requires you to let go of doubt. Doubt is the enemy of creation. It is the voice that whispers, what if it doesn't happen? What if I fail? What if I'm fail? These doubts can be insidious, and if left unchecked, they can sabotage your ability to manifest your desires. The moment you allow doubt to take root in your mind, you begin to waver in your assumption that your wish is already fulfilled.
All right. I want to touch on detachment for a while. Because I know we've heard that term used, every now and then about to detach yourself from your commitment to whatever it is that you have, desired or conceived in your mind to achieve, to experience. Um, Notice what Never said here is that you're not supposed to think that detachment means to not, or to stop thinking about, or to stop living in the end of your wish fulfilled. It's not about taking yourself completely out of the realm of those possibilities. What it is to not see it as something that you're waiting on, see it as something that you already have achieved. That is truly the art of detachment. Because, case in point, if you wanted to buy a new cell phone and you bought the cell phone, you no longer have a desire for it. So you have detached yourself from wanting to buy a cell phone or wanting a cell phone. You're no longer attached to that desire because it's already fulfilled. So what Neville is saying there is to use your mind, to trick your mind, the conscious mind that is, into accepting that the wish is already fulfilled. That is plainly the art of detachment, but that's where we struggle because we try to force or will the experience or whatever it is that we have conceived in our mind. We're trying to force it, trying to force ripe, as we would say, the fruit, instead of letting it take its course naturally. We're doing things to hasten the manifestation, and in doing so, we actually repel the desire. We repel whatever we have conceived in our mind. We slow down the birth, so to speak, because we're trying too hard for this thing to become true or real, in our lives. So detachment, the art of true detachment is, and I like that as a deeper discussion, a title that we could use, the art of detachment. It's really letting go of the notion that you don't have what you have conceived in your mind. Because if you live as true consciousness, as true awareness, which is who you are, if you live as that and let go of the body, let go of this 3D dimension that you're living in, and just live as pure consciousness, you will realize that as consciousness, you are already everything. You already have everything. There is nothing really to desire. We desire, based on, where we're living. We're living in this 3D world, this three-dimensional space. And this body, our vessel, has urges and want to experience in the physical something that we have conceived. So it's a battle between the mind, which is the ruler of the body, the five senses, and our subconscious, our true state of being is the subconscious, which is also our soul, and if we don't live in that end, as to already having anything that we have desired, we are going to always fight with ourselves. We're going to always try to force or try to, um, you know, confuse our subconscious, by the back and forth with the discussion between the conscious mind and the subconscious, saying, when is it going to happen? Where is it? Where is it? How is it not here yet? Why? And, it's been 2 weeks or 2 months. All these things that we're doing, we're just not letting go of desiring. And I think that's really what's holding us back in achieving our desires is we're constantly desiring. Like once you desire something, it should come to a point where you're no longer desiring it. You should feel as if you already have it. It's already manifested. Um, it's a grand trick that you have to play on the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is what you are, is what a man is. Okay. So if you already are something, then there's nothing for you to desire. You already are everything that there is. But the conscious mind is what you know or what you have conceived in your mind. And you are trying to figure out the way of how it is going to come into being. Not realizing that the subconscious is the mind that creates. The conscious mind is just the mind that conceives a desire in its mind, and you are to pass on that conception, plant it into the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind becomes pregnant with your conception. You know, I wrote something in the chat right here where it says the mind, which is the conscious mind. Anytime they mention the mind, they're talking about the thinking mind, the mind that thinks. Okay, it's the mind that thinks, conscious. It knows that it is here. It knows that it is seeing, it's hearing, it's smelling, tasting, touching. It's having experiences. It knows all that stuff. All right. But it is the culprit that robs you whenever you are creating. You must learn to use the conscious mind to cast your net. What is your net? All that you are desiring, all that you have conceived in your mind. Cast that to the right side, like scripture tells you. In the scripture, the disciples were fishing and they were casting their net on the left side. All these things we missed. They were casting their net on the left side, which means they were using the left hemisphere of the brain or the conscious mind. Okay? They were casting to the left side, and Jesus woke up and said, cast your net to the right. They're casting it to the right. They caught 153 fishes. Why so specific? 153 fishes, right? They're casting it to the right side. I mean, it was bursting with fish, 153. And um, the right side is the subconscious mind. That's what it means. And who was the one that told him to cast it to the right side? Jesus. Jesus represents the subconscious mind. Okay? So, and it is a mind that you are to be aware of how you influence it or impress it. And so your disciples are the disciples. They are the conscious mind. They are the mind, trying to figure out how to do things, how to catch these fishes, how to get these desires. And they're always thinking from a position of how. The conscious mind only thinks how, if, where, when, what. It's always thinking about these things. The subconscious mind does not think. This is why it manifests, because to think is to slow down things. Okay? It just do. Once it's impressed with whatever the conscious mind tells it, it's like it's a mirror. The mirror does not put the clothes on you. The mirror just reflects what you have put on yourself. So the subconscious mind is the very same thing. It reflects what you have dressed it up with back to you. And it has to come back to you in the exact proportion of how you have dressed it up. The mirror is only going to show a white top and a black bottom. It's not going to show the reverse. Okay? It cannot do that. It can only show the proportion in which you dress the subconscious mind with. Now, why did it show 153 fishes? When you add up 1 plus 5 is 6 plus 3 is 9. That is the number of consciousness. Okay, 9 represents the fulfillment or the full or consciousness filled, because 9 is the highest number in our number system. Notice we go from 1 to 9. Okay, 9 is the woman is 9 months pregnant for 9 months. It's telling you all these things to show you that the fulfillment of your truest self is in the state of the subconscious. Okay, and you're to live as consciousness only. Live as consciousness only, because that is the kingdom of heaven. Okay, when you're living as pure consciousness, you're in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so this is why they put that number there, such a specific number in the scripture, to show you where you should be at all times, living from the perception of pure awareness of everything. Nothing is effort. Nothing has any. It's not hard. It's easy. It's already finished. It's already done. Live in that state. Live in that end, and all your desires and goals and dreams will, manifest in a very effortless way, which you cannot predict. It happens like a thief in the night, but just know that it already is a present fact. Don't use your 5 senses to realize it. Okay, only live in your imagination, only live in your consciousness, and in a moment in time, that will project itself as your reality. All right, so just wanted to touch on that. I think Sir T is probably busy with maybe a stop. I think he was on the road earlier, so he'll be joining us again momentarily. But I wanted to just, touch on what it is to detach. I think that is a very, very good thing to understand or to practice, the art of detachment, meaning to already living in the end, already having the wish fulfilled, even though consciously you know that is not the case, but you are to practice to live in the end of the wish already fulfilled as consciousness, not in the flesh. The flesh is going to rob you because you don't have the thing in your hand tangibly. Live in the intangible state where all things there already is. And if you stay there, just like a mirror, when you dress yourself, the mirror must reflect what you have adorned yourself with. Okay? It's not going to reflect anything else. So keep it that simple, and you shall be fine. All right, let's continue with the this lesson, and we'll be right back.
Doubt creates resistance, and resistance slows down the process of manifestation. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it is growing. The seed needs time to germinate and to develop roots beneath the surface. In the same way, your desires need time to unfold in the physical world. When you live in the end, you are trusting that the seed you have planted in your imagination is growing, even if you cannot yet see the results. Gratitude also serves as a reminder that you are always supported by the universe. Even in moments of doubt or uncertainty, there is always something to be grateful for. Whether it's the love of a friend, the beauty of nature, or the simple fact that you are alive and breathing, there is always a reason to give thanks. When you focus on these blessings, you strengthen your faith in the goodness of life and in the power of the universe to bring your desires to fruition. Living in the end is not about pretending that everything is perfect or ignoring the challenges you may face along the way. It is about maintaining a state of inner fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. It is about holding on to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of adversity. This does not mean that you will never experience moments of doubt, frustration, or fear. These emotions are a natural part of the human experience. But when you live in the end, you learn to navigate these emotions with grace and resilience. When challenges arise, instead of reacting with fear or despair, you can use them as opportunities to strengthen your faith. Every challenge is an invitation to return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is a reminder to hold on to your inner vision, even when the outer world seems to be in chaos. This is the true test of living in the end. Can you remain faithful to your assumption, even when everything around you suggests otherwise? Can you hold on to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the midst of uncertainty? The more you practice living in the end, the more you will realize that external circumstances have no power over you. You are the creator of your reality, and your inner state determines what you experience. This realization gives you a sense of peace and empowerment, because you no longer feel at the mercy of the world around you. You understand that no matter what happens, you have the ability to create the life you desire from within. Living in the end also requires you to let go of the need for approval or validation from others. Often when we set out to create something new in our lives, we seek the approval of those around us. We want others to confirm that we are on the right path, that our desires are valid, and that we are worthy of achieving them. But this need for external validation can be a trap. It can cause us to doubt ourselves and to question our desires. The truth is, no one else can validate your desires for you. Only you know what is true for you. Only you can decide what you want to create in your life. When you live in the end, you are no longer seeking approval from others, because you have already given yourself permission to have what you desire. You have already claimed it as yours, and you no longer need anyone else's validation to affirm that truth. This does not mean that you should ignore the opinions of others or isolate yourself from the world. It simply means that you are no longer dependent on others for your sense of worth or for confirmation that you are on the right path. You trust yourself and your inner knowing. You trust that your desires are valid and that you are worthy of having them. When you live in the end, you are living from a place of self-assurance and inner confidence. Another important aspect of living in the end is embracing the present moment. Often when we are focused on manifesting our desires, we become so fixated on the future that we forget to appreciate the present. We become consumed with the idea of getting to the next step, the next goal, the next manifestation. But the present moment is where all of your power lies. It is in the present that you create your reality. When you live in the end, you are not waiting for the future to bring you happiness or fulfillment. You are experiencing those feelings right now, in the present moment. You are allowing yourself to feel the joy, the peace, and the satisfaction of your wish fulfilled, even before it has materialized in the physical world. This is the key to manifestation. You must feel it now in order to experience it later. The present moment is also where you have the opportunity to practice gratitude, to nurture your inner vision, and to align yourself with the energy of your desired reality. Every moment is an opportunity to reaffirm your assumption that your wish is already fulfilled. Every moment is an opportunity to embody the feeling of your desired state. When you live in the end, you are no longer living for some distant future. You are living in the fullness of the present. It's also important to understand that living in the end is not about forcing things to happen. It's not about trying to control every detail of your life or manipulating circumstances to fit your desires. True creation comes from a place of flow and ease. When you live in the end, you are not pushing against the current. You are allowing the natural flow of life to carry you toward your desire. You are trusting in the process, knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect timing. Forcing things to happen only creates resistance. It sends a signal to the universe that you don't believe your desire is already yours, and as a result, it pushes your desire further away. When you live in the end, you are not trying to make things happen. You are allowing them to happen. You are creating a space of openness and receptivity, where the universe can deliver your desire in the most harmonious and effortless way. This does not mean that you should sit back and do nothing. Action is an important part of the creation process, but it is inspired action that flows from a place of inner alignment. When you are living in the end, The actions you take are not driven by fear, desperation, or lack. They are inspired by the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You take action not because you need to make something happen, but because you are so aligned with your desired reality that the actions flow naturally from that state of being. Inspired action feels different from forced action. It feels effortless, joyful, and in alignment with your true self. It comes from a place of inner knowing rather than from a place of fear or scarcity. When you live in the end, you are attuned to this inner guidance and you allow it to lead you toward the fulfillment of your desire. Living in the end is a practice. It is a daily commitment to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to create. It is a way of being, not just a technique. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, living in the end becomes your default state of being, and you find yourself effortlessly attracting the people, circumstances, and opportunities that are in alignment with your desires. Living in the end is a practice that fundamentally reshapes the way we approach life and our desires. At its core, it is about embodying the truth that what you want already exists. It is not something that lies in the distant future, waiting to be obtained through struggle or effort. Instead, it is a state that is within your reach at every moment, ready to be claimed simply by aligning your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality of its fulfillment. One of the most powerful aspects of living in the end is the realization that you are not separate from your desires. Often people think of their desires as something external, something out there that they must work hard to achieve or attain. But in truth, your desires are an extension of you. They originate from within, and as such, they are already a part of your reality. The separation between you and your desires is an illusion created by the mind, reinforced by societal conditioning that emphasizes hard work, struggle, and linear progress toward goals. Living in the end dissolves this illusion of separation. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are merging with the energy of your desire. You are no longer perceiving it as something outside of you, but as something that is already an integral part of your life. This shift in perspective is crucial because it allows you to bypass the limitations of the logical mind, which often tries to rationalize why something is impossible or difficult to achieve. By living in the end, you are stepping into a state of being where you no longer question the possibility of your desire, you simply accept it as fact.
All right. One more thing I want to touch on right there is we're talking about a couple of things. You are not separate from your desires. You are not separate from it. You and your desires are one. Remember in scripture, Christ always walk around talking about my father and I and my father are one, but my father is greater than I. This is what this is telling you right here. You are not separate from your desires. All right. So think of it this way. The you right here is the father, right? The total awareness, consciousness. Your desires, you can see them as your sons or your son, your personifications that you are taking on, whatever you perceive. So the desire is the one saying that I and my father, the one desiring, my consciousness desiring, are one. But my father, the one desiring, is greater. The conceiver is always greater than its conception. So if you're conceiving something in your mind, you are always the greater of the two. Exactly. Lawrence here, right here, your desires are a part of you. Your desire is inside of you. Exactly. Okay. Remember, awareness is everything, all that there is. Nothing comes into this world if it were not already something that was within your consciousness. It would be impossible to make it into this world. Everything that is here has had already been in consciousness. It already was a part of consciousness. But they come into the world little by little. It's like you going through. It's like all of us going into a, a room through one door, one at a time. But everyone is out. Is going to get in. Everyone is going to get in, but one at a time, and everyone already exists, waiting to enter or exit, whichever way you want to look at it. But all your desires already exist. That's why you become aware of them. There is nothing that you become aware of that does not already exist. It already does exist. It has always existed. You're just becoming aware of its existence by perceiving it for whatever reason. Just having that feeling, uh, emotion, that awareness of some kind. Um, it comes to your mind. It's like tuning into a frequency on a radio. The channels that you're tuning into, they already exist. That's why you pick them up. You're not creating the channels. You're just becoming aware of them as you tune the dial to the left or the right, up or down, whichever way you want to perceive it. And um, when you come into the alignment with that said vibration, frequency, or desire, you become one with it. Now, as it says here, your desires are not separate from you. They are within you, okay? But they are not you. They are not who you are. They are just who you are being. All your desires are just states of being. They are not who you are. They are what you're desiring. Though they are in you, a part of you, they have no control over you. You control them. It's like the parent and the child. Okay? You are the grown up. You and the child are one. You birth the child, but you are greater than that child. Okay? You are the one in control. You're the one that is giving life to the child. You're the one who's giving life to your desire. Okay? So you're always in control. But it is very important to note, just like a child who comes from the father and the mother, they have always been in the parents. Okay? And therefore, they are always one with the parents. They're always one with the parents. But the parents is greater. Therefore, you're the one conducting, um, you know, all the desire manifests. You're the one who's desiring a particular child or experience or what have you. And you're giving it life by attaching your feeling to it, using the five senses, seeing it, smelling it, hearing it, tasting it, touching it. You're giving it vivid reality using your mind, you know? And in some particular time down the road, it will become evident, just like a child become his birth to show what was going on within the mom, within the mother, you know? So your evidence will become manifested at some particular time, but you realize that you must first create it from within. The child must be first created from within the mother in order for it to have reality in this world or become manifestation, you know? But it starts inside, it's an inner work, okay? So living in the end, never went on to say, living in the end is a way of life. It's not necessarily a technique. It is a way of life. I want you guys to realize that we're always living in the end. But unfortunately, we live in the end a lot of time in the things that we do not wish to experience. What am I saying here? We may have a particular fear or concern, and we always go to the end of that experience or concern being factual. You know, you're seeing how it is possible that this could happen. That is you living in the end because you've already gone right to the very end of whatever could be a possibility. Okay. Example, you're taking an exam, you're not too confident, and you've already decided that I'm not going to pass this test. I'm going to fail because I didn't prepare. You already see the end from the very beginning. But you could have seen the other end that you did pass, you know, and live in that end, despite the fact that you did not study. And you know you didn't study, you're not too bright on the subject, on the matter. But just what if you decide to um, stay faithful despite the evidence, the fact that you did not study, but live in the end that you did pass. You may not pass with flying colors, as they would say. You know, you might barely make it. But in the end, what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to live in the end that you did pass the exam and only see yourself there and just take the test. But if you continue to dwell in the moment that, boy, I never study and I don't think I'm going to pass this test, and you are already living in the end of that reality. And that's why we manifest so many of the things we do not wish to desire, because we are so aware of the things we do not want rather than the things that we do want. So we are always living in the end. Never is telling you to live in the end of the thing that you wish to manifest. What is wish again, Sir T? What is it? What is the
What I saw happened.
what I saw happen?
Yeah, but Sir Chris, with the analogy you just used, you living in the end of seeing yourself having passed that exam. If you're truly living in the end of that experience, if you're truly living in the end of it, the universe is gonna bend itself in such a way that it's gonna cause you to prepare for that exam, one way or the other. Whether it is that you study, or you're gonna be happen to be in a room where people just happen to be talking about the material for the exam. You're gonna be educated. You're gonna be prepared to that exam one way or the other if you're truly. Because when you're living in the end of an experience, it's like this is now who you have become. This is how you're carrying yourself. Your whole demeanor, everything is exuding that. Now you are in essence saying to the universe, "This is who I am. This is who I am. I am he who does well on my exams." The universe is gonna reciprocate that back to you in such a way that somehow, whether by force or by your own volition, you are gonna do what is enough to pass that exam. You won't even realize that that's what you're doing, but you're gonna pass that exam. If you're truly living in the end of it, if you're truly living in the end of it, you're gonna do what is to be done. See, when you figure out the end that you wish to land on, you should immediately take on the personality of that person who is experiencing that. You literally become that person. Even without the present result right in front of you, you literally become the person. The signs will follow. So it's not a thing where you try to do. It's not a thing that take no effort. It's like you just become the other person. Because you are the one creating the experience. So you can't come out of fire and smell like smoke. You understand?
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I come with a fire and don't smell like smoke. I like that. Whatever you're entangled with, that's who you have become, And you're gonna have residual or residue of that thing that you have become in mind, resonating with you. It's gonna be a vibration, it's gonna be an aura, a frequency, just something that you embody. And it must, like a seed, become what it already was, a tree, only to bear more fruits of the same thing from which it came, you know. Because the root, which is really, the seed, um, can only produce what it already was, and whatever it produced can only be what it came from. So if you embody the mindset of opulence, of always being successful, you don't even have to desire a particular thing. Just be um, aware of being success, therein, whatever you attach your mind to, or to do, or to involve yourself with, you're going to become successful with it, because you are vibrating only a mental state of success. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. I mean, success is a progressive realization of your desire or goal or dreams or whatnot. So whatever you're doing, you're always progressing. You're not regressing. You're always going forward into achieving the best outcome of that endeavor.
Yeah, in other words, you're just vibrating high. So it's like everything you touched on goal. Even
Yes.
though you're not try if you never even look, but everything where you touch just turn gold because you're vibrating high because you're living in the end of what are the cards? You're living in the end of an experience that brings forth, you know, a feeling of joy. So as long as you are holding that. Now, does your mind flash back and you become conscious mind? Yeah, but the minute you catch up on yourself, return home. Home is where the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That has to become your home. That has to be your default mood. That's where your mood defaults to. And after a while, you don't have to make your mood default to it. After a while, your mood is just gonna default to it automatically. That's your home. That's where you reside, and that's a high vibration. And when you're vibrating high, you're not by the sky.
Hmm. When the room is called up yonder, eh?
No.
that is that is the roll call right there, sir. 13.
Mm.
The
Come on,
fulfillment of the desire.
them just picking out one random winner and out of the blue. It just happen to be you. You think it's not coincidental. You're vibrating high. So if anything that is coming that is that brings forth joy and that so anything that is in the ear, you just capture it automatically and try it high, vibrate high. Yeah, it would be like when you them throw up a lab pass. So the man can go get it, go get it.
Yes.
When you throw a lab pass, it's not show to nobody in particular, you know, it show up there is who can go up there and get it. Now it's the man who is vibrating higher, he go get it because him already up there.
Yeah, he's already prepared. He's in a prepared state. That's why he can go and catch that love, because if he was not, he had not trained his body and to become unconscious in doing that action. You don't think about it, you just do it. You will have a hard time catching that love. Imagine that certainty that you're not throwing it to yourself, it's someone else, but you still have the wherewithal to time it perfectly.
Mm.
And don't get without effort, because it's something that you had prepared for ahead of time. And it could come from any direction, anytime. There's no particular setup for it. It's just something that's flowing with the game at the time. And you just execute because the mindset was already there
Mm-hmm.
to execute it should that opportunity present itself. So that's what we're saying here, guys. Coming here every Sunday and listening to Neville and talking about sharpening our imagination is preparation, for whatever opportunities that may come. You would already be in a prepared state to receive it, to give it vivid reality, using just your mind. And as Neville say, inspired action will present itself as to where you start doing things that you didn't really intend to do, but you're now doing it. And it is a result of you bringing in your manifestation. So you are going to be involved in your manifestation, but it's not forced. Never says, well, it's not forced action, it is inspired, meaning it's coming from within. Inspired. And that inside creates the outside, meaning it pushes you now to act, but you're not forcing it. You're just going, what the nursery rhyme say, row your boat gently down the stream. It didn't say up the stream, it says down the stream. So you're going with the flow. And you're getting to where you're going to get. It's inspired action, not forced action or reaction. You're just going with the flow. So that's why we come every Sunday to
And
make it
in the midst of that, while you're flowing down the stream, don't get attached to anything. Don't even get attached to the end result. Don't feel as if you are attached to any particular result. Because it's not a result that you're seeking, it's a feeling, and you already have the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's really a feeling you're after, and it's not necessarily a result, a particular result. Because were it a result that you were after, then when you get the result, you will be satisfied. And what is you get that result, then immediately you go in search of another. Because it's not a result that you're seeking for. I've always used the analogy of the man that's walking. He would be happy for a bicycle. The man with the bicycle would love to have a motorcycle. The man with the motorcycle want a car. The man with the car want a plane. You're never satisfied because it's a feeling that you're searching for. Now, if you already have the feeling, you've been living in the feeling, then you're no longer hell bent on any particular result turning out any particular way. You already capture that. You already have that feeling.
Yeah.
So you take that stress off of your weird. You're just flowing. You're just flowing with the flow. You are allowing. Because why do we resist things? We resist things because we judge them. We judge them before we resist them. Whatever you are resisting, it's because you have judged it. But when you get in that feeling, when you're living in the feeling of the wishful feeling, then you're not even judge anything. Why should I? Me already, I'm above that. I'm living in the feeling of my wish fulfilled. All of this that I'm looking at here, I know it's old news. So why do I even need to judge it? It's old news. So you lay off the judgment. You don't judge anything. You don't resist anything. You just allow, because you know that in allowing, you are more than anything else, regardless of it. You know, they say like when you try to fix a room, to fix up a room, when you first get started fixing up the room, it really look more messy than when you first went there to mess with it. It's gonna get messy first, but in the mess, because you already know where this is going, it's old news. You've seen it already. Because you already know where this is going, you can allow the mess, bless the mess and allow it. Because in the flow of all of that, where it's ultimately taking you, all of that that you're looking at, those are just what they call bridges of incidents. Just taking you through some bridges of incidents, and if you resist it, then you're gonna spend time there resisting. But if you let it go, you move on to the next thing. And where is it taking you ultimately? To the wish fulfilled, because you're living in the feeling. It's the feeling that's taking you to the wish. It's the feeling that is escorting you to the wish. So as long as you can maintain and retain that feeling along the journey, that's the most thing, because the feeling must get attached to something at some point. That feeling is taking you to something that is equivalent and on the same frequency with that feeling. So you get on the frequency and try to stay there. It's a quiet knowing that the frequency is it's a quiet knowing where you know how this ends. You know, it's like a movie that you've seen before because you have no caught up to the game where you realize, that, oh, I may create the movie. Okay, good. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, you are now, because you are now alert, you are now aware. You are seeing movies, little things that you are creating full time happening in quick time. Like how yesterday, I said, I do the ATM machine exercise while I go to sleep. And in quick time, in a week, it was experience. And this is something where when you experience me know, because I know what I've been doing.
Yeah. It's a replay.
It's a replay. And, yeah, and it's happening. So now you know that just like how you can do something like that now, you see it happen quick because you're now vibrating high, so it will happen quick. So the whole of that old movie thing where that you have to be viewing right now, that's gonna come to a quick end. It's gonna come to an end. You just gotta see that old news. Don't get attached to it. Don't judge it. Don't feel sorry about it. Don't not like that. Just watch the film. It was a bad production by you, but you know better now. You understand it? So you know better now. So now you're creating. Now you find yourself deliberately putting some energies out there and see it happen quickly, like what I'm talking about with the ATM thing. Then you're seeing it happen quickly. So now you're confident. You know that you're in the right. You're in something. You're in the right vibration. And hold on to that feeling. You get it early in the morning when you first rise. Just spend a minute with you, just yourself. See, it is the secret is in the self in circles. The secret to all of this is still mind. The still mind of man is the self of man. That is who you really are. When your mind is dead still. When you first wake up, your mind is dead still. And just before you fall asleep, in that fading away moment, your conscious mind is dead asleep. I mean, it's going to sleep, and it's your subconscious mind that is wide open. And it is in that moment when you feel the fulfilled promise. You feel it. You in that moment when you feel it in that moment, you know that that has been planted. And you can look forward to seeing that movie because you're going to see it. You're going to see it. So it is in those moments now that you get to the still of the mind, which is the self of the man now, where your mind is not thinking about anything. And the only thing you give your mind to at that moment is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Because your mind is now totally blank. You're not thinking of anything. So you can choose your thought. And the thought you should select, that you should choose in that moment, is the feeling of the where you just know it's a quiet knowing where this is not something you believe. This is not something you know. And it's bound, it's coming. Whatever it may be, do not face that moment with a fearful thought. Do not face that moment with any thought that makes you feel less than. Be your most exuberant self in that moment. The self you have to give. You are the one who is labeling yourself. You have to decide what that self is. And it is in that still moment when the mind is totally still. That's when you choose that self.
That is certain.
It's not a linear thing that heads down one straight road. It has branches like a tree. And the choice you make is gonna decide which branch you get on. Because that branch is taking you to a destined end. And if you had made this choice, it's taking you to a destined end. It's in the all the in my father's house are countless mansions. All the possibilities are there in that moment when you're at self. In that moment when you're at self, you're at a crossroads. And all the possibilities are there. Regardless what you did do before, man. You have that brand new start every time you go to self. It doesn't matter what you had planted before. You have that brand new start. Be still, says scripture, and know that I am God. That's it said, I think it's Psalm 3 something somewhere. Be still and know. Remember what I tell you that it is a quiet knowing. It's something where you know. Be still your mind, and know in that moment that that still mind is God. Choose what you will in that still moment of the still mind, and capture the feeling of what it feels like to fulfill that moment and wear that feeling.
Yeah,
Because
Psalms
in the
46,
Psalm 46, in it,
verse 10.
Psalm 46 verse 10, read it.
It says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathens. I will be exalted in the earth.
All right, good. What is being still and what is going to be exalted? The, it is the mind that is being still. That stop sign, that stop sign, that stop light right where the mind is still. You can name that stoplight the self light. When the mind is still, you're at self. That's who your true self is. That's where you're at right now. And that true self is at a crossroad where everything is possible. But know that it's a serious power, it's a God power that you're about to utilize right here. Because you're doing it from a still mind. All power loaded up in there. Be still and know that who is God. I am. What's the name of yourself? I am. Be still the mind, and in that moment, know that I am God in that moment. The still mind has everything is possible at that place. And this is something that we I mean, do it deliberately. Do it deliberately. count your breath, count your breath, and your mind is gonna drift off, but be there and paying attention to every breath. If you lock into that within the first 7 breaths, you're gonna drift off into subconscious. By the time you get to the 7th breath, because your mind is so still, you were not thinking of anything except that breath. That's the only thing your mind was locked into. And in no time that mind took where you're not careful, you drop asleep. You've entered subconscious. Yeah, man, find that spot there, find that spot and live. Scripture have another way of labeling it as the secret place of the Most High. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. That's where it's that secret place of the Most High. You notice that you alone can go there. That place where you went in your mind, where your mind is still where you are counting your breath. Can you take anybody there with you? You alone can go there, so that's the secret place of the Most High. He who dwells there, you will go to a different place and come back, but spend a lot of time there. That's self. That stoplight. Self. Get yourself there, spend a lot of time there. Harboring the feeling of the wishful feeling whilst you're there. Like magic, man.
It's drawing out of self, you know.
Line out of self.
It's all an inside job, the inside man. So you're not going anywhere but within. Though your experience, you will encounter from without. Don't be, don't get it twisted. Don't be, dismayed. This thing is an inside job, just externalizing itself. Because that's how it has to be. That's how it works. Whatever externalized was first internalized. It was first done from within. You know, what name there? Sir Marlon used an analogy which I really love about the ice tray in the fridge. It can only become ice if it goes inside the fridge and stay there, and freeze itself, freeze that state of being, from within. Once it's frozen from within, once you take on that state, then it hardens into fact. And that's what the ice did. The ice then become hard and now, but before it was water, before it was a pliable substance, very submissive, no restriction whatsoever, does not fight back, does not, push back, it just accepts its fate. Your consciousness, primarily the subconscious mind, just accepts whatever fate you subject it to, and it becomes that. And if you stay in that state subjectively, it hardens into fact. That hardness now is what externalizes by whatever actions you have to take, or that someone took, on your behalf for you to experience what you internalize. So I love that analogy that Sarvana used. I don't think I've ever heard a wiser or better analogy in terms of how the subconscious works. Or how consciousness works in itself. The conscious and the subconscious mind working together, just playing their part and materializing its desires. So, yeah, man, wonderful way to exemplify the art of creating. We have a few more minutes left on the tape, so let's go ahead and play that out, and then we'll come back and close out today's lesson in a few. Okay, so be right back after the final thoughts from Neville.
This brings us to the importance of inner dialogue. Your inner dialogue, the constant stream of thoughts that runs through your mind, is one of the most powerful tools in shaping your reality. Whether you realize it or not, your thoughts are continuously creating your experience. Every time you think about your desires, whether positively or negatively, you are influencing their manifestation. Therefore, it is essential to become aware of your inner dialogue and to consciously direct it in a way that aligns with the reality you wish to create. When you live in the end, your inner dialogue should reflect the certainty that your desire is already fulfilled. Instead of thinking thoughts like, I hope this happens, or what if it doesn't work out? You must think and speak as if your desire is already a part of your life. This means replacing doubt with affirmation, fear with faith, and lack with abundance. Your inner dialogue should be filled with statements like, I am so grateful that this has already happened, or I am living the life I've always dreamed of. At first, this may feel unnatural, especially if you are used to focusing on what is missing or lacking in your life. But with practice, this new way of thinking becomes second nature. The more you affirm the reality of your desire, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept it as truth. And as we know, the subconscious mind is the key to manifestation. Once a belief is accepted by the subconscious, it begins to shape your external reality in ways that may seem miraculous. It is also important to note that your inner dialogue does not have to be limited to words. In fact, one of the most effective ways to live in the end is through the power of visualization. Visualization is a form of mental rehearsal in which you imagine yourself experiencing your desired reality in vivid detail. When done correctly, visualization can evoke powerful emotions and sensations, which in turn strengthen your assumption that your wish is already fulfilled. When you visualize, it is important to engage all of your senses. Don't just see yourself living your desired reality, feel it, hear it, smell it, and even taste it. For example, if your desire is to live in your dream home, don't just picture yourself walking through the house, feel the texture of the floors beneath your feet, hear the sound of the wind rustling through the trees outside, smell the fresh paint on the walls, and taste the first meal you cook in your new kitchen. The more vividly you can imagine yourself living your desired reality, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. The key to successful visualization is to focus on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is not enough to simply see yourself achieving your desire, you must also feel the emotions associated with that achievement. These emotions are the fuel that powers the manifestation process. When you feel joy, excitement, gratitude, and satisfaction, you are vibrating at the frequency of your desired reality. This vibration is what attracts the people, opportunities, and circumstances that will bring your desire into physical form. Another important aspect of living in the end is the role of self-concept. Your self-concept is the mental image you hold of yourself, and it plays a crucial role in determining what you can and cannot achieve. If you see yourself as someone who is unworthy or incapable of achieving your desires, then no matter how much you try to live in the end, you will always encounter resistance. This is because your self-concept sets the boundaries of what you believe is possible for you. To truly live in the end, you must align your self-concept with the reality of your desire. This means seeing yourself as the person who already has what you want. If your desire is to be wealthy, then you must begin to see yourself as someone who is financially abundant. If your desire is to be in a loving relationship, then you must see yourself as someone who is worthy of love and companionship. Your self-concept must reflect the reality of your wish fulfilled. One way to shift your self-concept is through the use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that reinforce your desired self-image. When repeated consistently, affirmations help to reprogram your subconscious mind and align your self-concept with your desired reality. For example, if your desire is to be successful in your career, you might repeat affirmations like, I am a successful and respected leader in my field, or I attract lucrative opportunities and excel in everything I do. Over time, these affirmations will become ingrained in your subconscious. and you will begin to embody the qualities of the person you wish to become. Another powerful tool for shifting your self-concept is the practice of self-love. Self-love is the foundation upon which all manifestation is built. If you do not believe that you are worthy of having your desires, you will subconsciously sabotage your efforts to achieve them. Therefore, it is essential to cultivate a deep sense of love and appreciation for yourself. This means treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and respect, and letting go of any beliefs or patterns that undermine your sense of self-worth. When you love yourself unconditionally, you naturally attract experiences that reflect that love. You no longer settle for less than you deserve, and you no longer tolerate situations or relationships that do not align with your highest good. Self-love empowers you to live in the end with confidence and certainty, because you know that you are deserving of everything you desire. It is also important to understand that living in the end does not mean denying the present moment. While it is true that you are focused on the feeling of your wish fulfilled, this does not mean that you should ignore or resist your current circumstances. In fact, one of the most powerful aspects of living in the end is the ability to embrace the present moment while simultaneously holding the vision of your desired future. The present moment is always perfect, even when it does not appear to be. Every experience you have, every challenge you face, is part of the process of bringing your desires into physical form. When you resist the present moment, you create unnecessary suffering and delay the manifestation of your desires. But when you accept the present moment as it is, without judgment or resistance, you allow the natural flow of life to carry you toward your desired reality. Living in the end also requires patience. The physical world operates on a different timeline than the inner world of imagination, and sometimes it takes time for your desires to manifest. This is not because the universe is withholding your desires, but because there are unseen factors at play that must align in order for your wish to come into physical form. During this time, it is important to remain steadfast in your assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, even if you cannot yet see the results. Patience does not mean passivity. It does not mean sitting idly by and waiting for things to happen. Instead, patience is an active state of trust and faith. It means continuing to live in the end, even when the external world seems to suggest otherwise. It means taking inspired action from a place of alignment, rather than from a place of fear or desperation. And most importantly, it means enjoying the journey, knowing that the destination is already yours. As you continue to live in the end, you will notice subtle shifts in your reality. You may begin to encounter synchronicities, chance encounters, or unexpected opportunities that seem to align perfectly with your desires. These are signs that your wish is in the process of manifesting, and they serve as encouragement to continue living in the end. However, it is important not to become too attached to these signs. While they are a positive indication that your desire is on its way, the true measure of success is your inner state of being. Ultimately, living in the end is about cultivating a sense of inner fulfillment that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is about recognizing that everything you desire already exists within you, and that you have the power to bring it into physical form through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. It is about embracing the truth that you are the creator of your reality, and that you have the ability to manifest your desires with ease and grace. The journey of living in the end is one of self-discovery, empowerment, and joy. It is a journey that invites you to explore the limitless potential of your imagination and to step into the fullness of who you truly are. As you continue to live in the end, you will come to realize that the external world is merely a reflection of your inner state. When you change your inner world, your outer world changes in response. So embrace the practice of living in the end. Make it a daily commitment to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and to embody that state in every aspect of your life. Trust in the power of your imagination and know that you are always in control of your reality. In conclusion, living in the end is a transformative practice that empowers you to step into the reality you desire, not by waiting for external circumstances to change, but by aligning your inner world with the fulfillment of your wishes. It requires you to shift your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, and from doubt to certainty. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and embodying that state in your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you create the conditions for your desires to manifest effortlessly. This process is not about forcing or controlling outcomes, but about trusting in the power of your imagination and the natural flow of life. As you cultivate the practice of living in the end, you will discover that your outer world begins to mirror your inner state of being. You will attract the people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with your desires, and your life will unfold in ways that exceed your expectations. Remember, the key to living in the end is to maintain an unwavering belief in the reality of your desire, even when the physical world suggests otherwise. Stay patient, stay focused, and stay connected to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. In doing so, you will unlock the infinite potential within you and realize that everything you seek is already yours.
All right, and we're back. That is the end of the tape. Living in the end, or live in the end of the wish fulfilled. We're always living in the end. We just don't know it. How do we know it's true? Because we're always manifesting, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So you must have been living in the end of something for it to manifest, whatever that might be. That being said, what we're talking about here is consciously living in the end, because most of our experiences, meaning that what becomes external or externalized, has been a subconscious or unconscious doing. You know, these are programs that we have created, and they are just running scenarios or experiences based on how we are feeling. You know, so if you start to feel, you know, unworthy or um, not deserving or afraid or sad or mad, you know, all these negative, you're going to have some things that materialize to give you that feeling because you're living in the end of that particular feeling. You know, so it's all going to come down to how you're feeling. And whatever you're feeling, you're living in that end. It's not just imagining an end result. It's feeling a type of way, a certain way, you know, of for whatever reason, you know. But I'm just highlighting the negatives because for the most part, we're very good at doing that. Very good at expressing the negatives or expressing the things that we do not wish to experience or to live. But how we were trained or how we were, you know, cultivated, our mind that is, um, we're very good at manifesting these things. Very good at doing it. I mean, just look at the world. You will see it all around. It's so chaotic in most places that you can tell that this is the end mentally that most people are living in. And, you know, the news is one way to do it. They call them TV programs for a reason because they're programming your mind. Um, they call them entertainment. The word entertainment means to sustain something inside your mind. You're imprinting something inside your mind. It's something that your mind is attracted to. Okay. And a lot of times these things are just the news. People like to watch bad news for whatever reason, want to know all the bad things that's going on in the world. And you're just going to perpetuate all these negative or bad outcomes. What if we were to reverse that, truly reverse that and pay attention only to the good news don't sell. So you will not see a good news channel because they're all about making money. It's about views and their sponsors and the advertisements and whatnot. So they're not gonna. That doesn't sell. People like stuff that is dramatic, traumatic, engaging, and it so happens to be things that are negative. Unfortunately, are just derogative. So uh, popularity, you know, yes, whatever is popular, people gravitate towards it and stuff like that. But spirituality is not popular. It's not, consciousness is not popular, though we all use it and we're not aware that's what it is, but it's not popular. It's not shoot, the church is more popular than talking about consciousness. People go to church almost every day, somewhere in the world, multiple times a week. It's what we were cultivated in that regard to take us away from our true self. It is a sacred practice, and so it's hidden from us. We are not aware that it is our birthright, that it is who we truly are, and who we're being most of the time is who we were led to be. We're put inside of a bottle, some kind of a container, wherein we live there and we don't leave it. We don't leave it. We keep that form, that shape, that mindset of where they want us to be. It's an open prison. You understand? It's a prison without walls, um, that we live in. Interestingly, that's the best prison that there ever was. A prison without walls, because you're in it and you don't know it. If you know you were inside of a prison, you would try to exit. You would look for a way to escape, but you're in prison and don't even know it, and you're in prison from within. Imagine that. It's not external; it's internal. And so, just emphasizing, guys, that the reason all of us struggle with realizing our deepest goals and dreams and what have you is because of these things. These things we've been exactly. We must focus on our birthright. These things we have been cultivated to be in mind, and therefore, throughout our lifetime, we carry these burdens with us, these cross, and we won't let them go. They have become part of our existence, and they interfere with our signal, with our frequency. It's like you're in an elevator trying to use a cell phone, or you're in a building trying to, use the cell phone, or trying to be on the radio of so anything that requires clear path, clear, um, open awareness or attachment. And we're distracted. We're put in a box. That's what they coin the term think outside the box. We're being controlled mentally, nothing physical, just mind. And this is our exit strategy, is to become powerful in our awareness. It is the only thing that can save you. There is no savior coming from out of the sky. The only sky is from within. That's the sky. That's the savior. The sky is within. The sky is not without. What you see outside is just what is within. Everything external is internal. Nothing is really out there as we think it is. You understand? It's all an illusion. So, but these things control us via our five senses, And these five senses, they're like prison guards. They keep us in prison or imprisoned, self-preserved, self-imprisoned, all of that. Our five senses are just the watchmen at the gate, you know, feeding us what we've been cultivated to feel or to be aware of. We're just reversing that those old beliefs. We're cutting off the new man, I mean the old man, and putting on the new. We're bringing our new wines, but we're looking for new bottles. The old bottles are not going to work. Can't put old patches on new garments. Okay? Um, we have to change everything that we've been taught. And these are the subconscious beliefs that has crippled our minds all these years, you know, and we can undo it, reset like you do a computer. Reset, you reset, you learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay? Learn, unlearn, relearn. You reset everything that we were given by learning what we were supposed to have from the very beginning. And what we've always had, which is our awareness. It's our birthright. We've always had it. We just don't know. We were told that we are the body, that we are the mind. We don't know that we are the creator who created this universe, you know? And we were told that created the universe. Okay? Um, that is such a deep topic, deep subject about this creation thing, you know? Um, but just know that we are pure awareness in many different forms. We have taken this form as consciousness, as man, male and female. We're the head of the awareness. We're still creating, but we're creating a lot of chaos. And what we need to do is create harmony. Firstly, starting within our own mind. Once we fix it there, we don't need to fix anything else outside. It's just going to happen. It's just going to appear. It's just going to flow because we have fixed the internal. We fixed the mind. We fixed the engine, so to speak, and then the car can move, without any effort. We don't have to push it, just drive it because we fixed what we needed to fix. Sir T, are you there? Give us your thoughts on today's lesson and
Yes,
so
sir.
how.
Just as we've been driving it home all day, get to the end of your intentions, your wishes. Don't even see them as desires. Your experiences that you choose to that you choose to experience. Get to the end of it. Get to the end of it. It is your desire. You know what you want. Get to the end of it. Feel, feel the feeling of feel the relief of this thing having been accomplished, and live in that feeling. Don't let anything on the outside deny you that feeling, because that feeling you did not get it from the outside, you got it from the inside. So always go on the inside for that feeling. It's a peace that passes all understanding. It's a peace. Like I say, it's a quiet knowing where you know. You've seen the movie before, and it's that is it. Find peace.
Find peace and you find joy. That's right. That's right. Yes, sir, T. Thank you for that. Right there. Anyone else have any closing words? Any parting words? It's 12:20. We're going to close out in a few minutes. Anyone else? And remember, we said to write down any goals, any desires, any dreams, any particular wish, what you saw happen, what I saw happen, you know, um, see it, be it, then have it. See it in your mind and be it also in your mind, and you will have it in your experience. See it, be it, and have it. Okay? Whatever you wish, as we said last week, my wish is my command. You are commanding your own wish because you are pure consciousness. There is no one else out there that's going to do it for you. No God in the sky, no devil can stop you. That devil doesn't exist. That devil is your very own mind, conscious mind, doubting and questioning and all these different things. Okay? The only devil that there is the conscious mind. The only God that there is your subconscious. Okay? They are two sides of the same coin, consciousness. Okay? But it is necessary. Nothing exists in consciousness that does not have meaning. Might have just misconstrued that reality. Okay? If you notice the devil, the symbolic representation is a red creature with horns and whatnot. It's just a depiction of what your conscious mind is. It's emotional. It's the Old Testament, the one that kills everything in its sight, trying to force things to happen. If they don't like it or it's happening, they kill. It's the conscious mind. That's the Old Testament. It's all the conscious mind to what the Old Testament is. New Testament is completely different. The subconscious. Everything is easy. Bears all the sins. You understand? Nothing is too hard for it to do. Water into wine, walking on water, all that stuff, raising the dead. It's telling you the duality of the mind. You understand? The duality of consciousness. One being the devil, one being good or God. You know, that's how it works. And it's red because red is a low vibrating color. The conscious mind is a lower vibrating aspect of your awareness. The higher vibrating side is the subconscious. Okay? The conscious mind rules the earth, the subconscious mind rules the heavens, the fourth dimension, the higher dimension, heaven. It's really like that. It's there's no other way around it. It's really that simple. Once you are aware of that stuff right there, you know how to operate your awareness, your mind. There is no devil, there is no God except you, consciousness. All in one package. Nothing else is out there. It's all you. Once you know that, you are free. Okay? So, again, today's lesson was to live in the end. And it's not a technique, it is a lifestyle. We're always living in the end, just be more conscious of what end you're living in. Once you do that, you're going to manifest more consciously and you will not be surprised. Okay? You will know exactly what you did. All right? So, love you guys. I'll catch up with you next week, Sunday. Next week, Sunday. Ooh, not going to be here. Tell you guys from now. Not going to be here next week, Sunday. I'll keep you posted though. I have a wedding to go to in the weekend, so supposed to come back on Sunday, but not sure exactly what time. But keep you guys posted on that. And so we'll see how it goes. We might still do something. Nonetheless, because I'm not going anywhere far, just local, somewhat local, still in Florida. But just giving you guys a heads up. All right. But that said, love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and rest of your week. And we catch up in a few days. Love you all. Peace. Over and out.